The Sanderson Farms Championship week is off and rolling. Today was the official Pro-Am Day. Steve Jent joins us right now. Live as we broadcast from the Sanderson Farms Championship, the Country Club of Jackson. He's the executive director of this event. You know, Steve, he's on with us pretty regularly throughout the year. And tournament week, man, congratulations.
Thank you.
You have officially made it to the start line.
Well, yeah, I mean, we feel like we start, we always feel like we start on the Monday of the previous year, right? But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, for us, this is day 3, right? And really day 4 if you can count our party we have for the Monday program Sunday night. So yeah, we're halfway through. Tonight, we turn it over the inside the ropes to the PGA Tour, and it's kind of their show from this point on. But yeah, we've gotten through these 3 days. We still got a few hours to go, and man, it's been a great week. It's amazing.
All right, so tell me about the relationship between your team and the PGA Tour event team, if you will. You say you turn it over. So you spend all of this time building up, making sure everything's right, only to hand off your baby. But they're pretty good at taking that handoff, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about the competition between the ropes with 144 players, right? So outside the ropes and the hospitality and everything like that, the concession stands and the volunteers, that's really still our bailiwick, right? But there's some standards.
It's a good word.
I know, big word, right?
Bailiwick.
I won't use that again. But there's some standards that they expect everybody to kind of abide by. They want, like I do, they want everything to look consistent from week to week on the telecast. So from a signage standpoint, a lot of different things that we do, we kind of have to meet some standards, tee backs, certain things. But yeah, when it comes to the players and the actual, starters and everything like that, it's up to their specs.
Give me a brief history lesson on specifically the greens here at this golf course. I'm off on my years. I know it's over a decade ago that they went from bent grass greens to the greens that we've got in place right now. And the reason I ask is because we were talking with Pick a little while ago. He mentioned that Chesson Hadley said since he's been on the PGA Tour, there are not 5 putting surfaces that are as good as what he's putting on right now. Sam Burns has called him the best greens on tour. So what's the history of these greens that has gotten them to this point?
Yeah, I think, and again, there are people who've been here longer than I have. Stanley Reedy, their superintendent's been here for 28 years.
Okay.
The course was redone back in 2007, 2008 by John Fote, Bermuda Greens, Champions Bermuda. And then I think part of it is that, the tour has an agronomy team that works with Stanley, and it's just a labor of love for Stanley and his superintendents, his assistants, to get this up to the standards of where the tour wants to see it. They're running 13 right now. But it's, different things. Can
they get faster than that over the weekend? Or is that about the right number?
I mean, the temperature's going to drop, so at night the Bermuda may not, won't grow. You're the wrong person. I'm the wrong person if you get technical on this one. But they've done the right things according to the tour's agronomy, and I think, and there's things that you do. It's not just this week. It's things you do throughout the year to get those greens ready. And, thankful to the membership out here that they allow us to do those things. But, yeah, the players, I was just going around the golf course, kind of saying thank you to our sponsors. And I ran across Harry Higgs, and he's definitely top 3 on the PGA Tour. Other guys have said they're the best, not just Bermuda or best. And now our fairways. I mean, somebody said that if you could take our fairways and pick them up and move them to any PGA Tour event, you could do it right now. So
that's incredible.
It's just that good.
That's really incredible. So you mentioned the membership here. So there is a level of prestige that goes along with your club, your home course, hosting a PGA Tour event.
Right.
But there's also a level of headache that goes along with hosting a PGA Tour event. So talk to me about the relationship between the Country Club of Jackson and the tournament.
Yeah, we've got a great relationship. Patrick Joyce and his staff treats us very well. I think in life, any relationship that you can be a part of that's win-win, I think everyone feels good about it, right? You don't like feeling like some side took advantage of the other. And I think that's what we've got. We've got a great golf course. We've got a great staff that understands what we're trying to do. But I think the benefit to the Country Club is obviously national prestige. There's only a handful of private clubs that host a PGA Tour event. But outside of that, there's a financial benefit to the club from, in terms of that we purchase food and beverage from them throughout the week. And based on the parties I've seen so far, the bill's going to be pretty big. But then I understand, we're thankful to the membership. I understand that there are 2 weeks out of the year they can't play it, although I do think it's in football season, and I think everybody's kind of focused on some other things. And there's some things throughout the year that we need to do. But I hope that they understand and they see that, and I know they do because they say it, that the benefits of hosting a PGA Tour, event outweigh the negatives.
All right, so you mentioned a second ago, college football. That's kind of a big deal. There are 2 home games in the state of Mississippi this weekend, with Ole Miss playing at 11 o'clock on Saturday, Mississippi State playing on Saturday afternoon at 3. Instead of trying to, pretend like that's not happening or go, well, you just make a choice. You either do golf or you do football. You guys have kind of embraced the whole college football thing.
Yeah, you can't fight it. I saw something recently that said the top 100 television shows in America last year, shows, not sports, shows. 75 of them were NFL, and then there were 12 were NCAA. So 87 top television shows in the country out of 100 were football. So you can't fight that, right?
Sure.
So we're sitting here in Walker's Key. We've got 2 big screen televisions here. We've got 1 behind 18. We've got stuff, screens in all the hospitality. We know how important it is, right? We do. But I don't know what's Vaught Hemingway seat.
63,000.
There's another 30,000 still to stay out in the Grove, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what Miss State
is. 60,000 also.
Okay. So that's there's a lot more people than that.
Sure.
You can still come out to the tournament, but even with that, I think we're still in school session. Kids are in school, but I think you look at it and go, if we have a glorious Sunday in terms of huge spectator crowds, we know how important football is. The Ole Miss game's at 11. Right, the state game's at 3,
sure.
2:33. Plenty of time to come home and come out here on Sunday, and or maybe come out here Thursday and Friday before you head up there. But we're going to do University Spirit Day on Saturday. So if you come out here,
wear your colors.
Wear your colors, no matter where you're from, where you support.
There you go.
Be a fun day.
We talked on Friday a little bit when the full field announcement was released as to who it's a great group.
Great group. Strongest field ever here at this event.
And I feel like we're about 5 years running where you've been able to say that.
Yeah,
it's gotten a little better.
It's gotten a little better every year. And I'm kind of a stats guy. You look at, for us, it's the official World Golf ranking.
Sure.
Right? And our field by that ranking has gone up and up and up every year. There's a popular European Tour event this week where our field is stronger than that event for the first time. So I think we're doing the right things. We have 144 of the world's best players here. The field's, Sam's defending. I've got 6 major champions. I've got 7 of our past champions. 23 guys have won a PGA Tour event in the last 2 years. It's really, really good. And, even whoever you say is the 144th player in the field, they're all great. And professional sports is entertainment. You are going to be entertained by these guys if you come out and watch them. They're incredible what they can do with a golf ball.
And then you've also got a local flavor as well, right? Jackson Suber, who just finished up at Ole Miss, is in the field. Chad Ramey, who was a star at Mississippi State and has had a great season.
Yeah, won on the PGA Tour event in the spring in Dominican.
He's in the field. And also the State Am champion, Bryce Wilkinson.
Wilkinson.
Played at Southern Miss.
Played at Madison Central, went to Southern Miss, set a lot of their records there.
Yeah.
And now he's sitting there in a classroom at law school. He may have some tests today, but he's going to come out and tee it up tomorrow. But I think he had to ask permission to skip a couple exams. But, yeah, and then Wilson Furr, who grew up here, went to JA, went to Alabama. First time we've had a chance to give him an exemption. Hayden Buckley from Tupelo, Davis Riley. It's really,
and these are guys that have been playing really good golf also.
Yeah,
it's not just, you're local, come play because people like you.
Davis finished second, almost made it to Atlanta with the Tour Championship. Hayden's come close. These are bona fide PGA Tour players right in our backyard. It's really good.
People want to attend this weekend. What's the best way to go about tickets and parking and all that?
Everything's at SandersonFarmsChampionship.com. Park at North Park Mall. We do have at our entry gate off St. Andrews, when you walk in, there's an ability to actually purchase ground tickets there. If you want to do it ahead of time off a Ticketmaster site, you can do that. But, I mean, it's a 5-minute shuttle ride from North Park. It's easy.
Yep.
And we love, obviously we're hoping for great concessions. We're going to serve a lot of chicken. One of the best, you talked about this before. I don't know if you've been in it yet. One of the the best merchandise tents on the PGA Tour.
I say it's the best. Now, my sampling is limited. I've been to Memphis, been to a couple of other golf tournaments, but I don't think there's anything that compares. I've not yet been in this year.
I'm kind of biased, but I have been to a lot of golf tournaments.
I'm just going to put it on your ticket, by the way, instead of paying for it.
Yeah, not a problem. It just, just go against what we can give the kids, Richard, but that's great.
Oh, thanks. Wow. Hey, it makes me feel like an LSU booster.
Oh, my God. It's small but mighty. It's not the biggest tent in the world. Otherwise, it's set on top of the putting green. But, no, I think we've done I mean, we may have come – and these 3 days, I think we've almost done half of what we did the entire year last year, or more than half. So, in the last 3 days, I think we're at like 130.
Oh, no, that was Borky telling you how much time was left.
I thought you were talking about thousands of dollars in the merchandise tent. I think we sold $130,000 worth of merchandise in 3 years in there.
And the tournament hasn't started yet.
Yeah, exactly. Think what we'll do in the next few days.
We've got Pro-Am stuff still happening on this Saturday. Is this still Pro-Am, or is this just guys getting some practice rounds in?
No, this is still Pro-Am because I see push carts out there. So it looks like those guys, that's one. So it looks like they may have just made the turn. It's going to get dark. I'm sure those guys are going to finish.
They got to hustle.
They're enjoying their afternoon out there.
All right, so Pro-Ams all week long, right? You have a Monday Pro-Am, a Tuesday Pro-Am, and then today is the official PGA Tour Pro-Am. Is that
Tuesday's
right?
just practice rounds for the most part. We have our ladies' day, ladies' lunch. We had Sarah Thomas, guest speaker, with that yesterday. We do a Monday, 28 teams Monday morning. 52 teams today. We do a Bank Plus Junior Pro-Am this afternoon. 6 teams of 4 kids that qualified through their play in the MJGA over the summer, playing with 6 pros. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I was just out there a little bit with some of them.
Does that happen everywhere, or is that unique to this event?
I think it's pretty. There are a few that kind of do some things with the first tee, but in terms of an actual Pro-Am with kids that maybe are up and coming juniors, we may be the only one or close to it. There's not much out there like this.
Who are the players that played with those guys?
Will McGirt played, Cody Gribble, Sean Stephanie. Let's see who else was out. Ben Silverman, Vaughn Taylor was out there. I'm trying to remember the 5th one. But I mean, they're guys that just because of their FedEx Cup status just weren't in the Pro-Am, but they wanted to get some holes in and play with some great juniors.
Yeah, that's a really neat deal. What a memorable event for young golfers. All right, so for the actual Pro-Am, there are professional golfers who would prefer not to be a part of that. They don't have a lot of choice. And then there's some guys that really, really embrace the Pro-Am piece of it. Yeah,
I think they realize, going back to decades in the PGA Tour, the relationships that they can build with some of the amateurs who are, corporate businessmen, it can result in a sponsorship from them, maybe a logo on their shirt, or lifetime relationships with guys that want to bring them to their event or bring them to speak in front of their, sales guys or their executives. So I think there are guys that get it, that there are relationships that you can build in the Pro-Am with your amateurs.
Yeah.
And we've done some things over the year with the PGA Tour that I think are great to kind of, our Pro-Am is what's called a 9-and-9. So they actually play with 2 pros. So if I tee off on one, I play, 9. Let's say I play 9 holes with Sam Burns, right?
Okay.
And then at the turn, when I turn from 9 to 10, Sam turns the team over to Gary Woodland. So you get to play with 2 PGA Tour pros for 9 holes. It lessens the amount of time that the PGA Tour player actually has to spend with some guys. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that is there any difference between 2.5 hours and 5?
Sure.
Right. So, and hey, I got to play with 2 PGA Tour professionals instead of 1. So it's a pretty great thing on both sides of things.
Steve, I mean this is most complimentary way possible. This event has gotten better each year. You've talked about the field, the sponsorship, growth, attendance, merchandise tent, the whole deal. You guys set the bar pretty high for yourselves. How do you continue to grow year after year and get better?
Yeah, and I think, one, we've been a good steward of what's been given to us, right? Joe Sanderson and his team at Sanderson Farms were phenomenal supporters. We've got a great relationship, and the title sponsor agreement helps Century Club out. They've been able to bring their vendor relationships to the table, so we've had the finances to have a good event, but also get a lot to charity as well, right? But I'll sit down with my staff here in about a month, and we'll go through and say, okay, well, what do we want to do better, right? And there, can't do everything, right? And there's already some things that we take a look at. Once the train's going downhill, you can't change them for this year. But we started a month ago thinking about, hey, let's tweak this and tweak that next year. Some of it's from feedback from volunteers and players and spectators. But maybe it's things that we see at other PGA Tour events that we say, hey, let's try that there. Does this work for us? Or maybe it does tweaked. Not every, in an NFL team or a college football team, you've got 120 yards on the field, right? It's the same for everybody. Every PGA Tour course is different. So the amount of space you have around the greens to build hospitality, the size of your clubhouse, the size of your parking lot, your community, it's very different. What might work in Phoenix doesn't necessarily work in Jackson.
It's funny you said Phoenix. I was thinking you probably can't build a stadium around a par 3.
Know what I really want to. I love my boy Chance Cosby out there, and I actually texted him and go, hey, Chance, I've got Phoenix weather in Mississippi this week, 50s in the morning and 80, so we're going to have Phoenix weather this week. But, no, I don't have the space. Those TPC courses are built for stadium golf. This was built in 1961 with not that in mind. So you kind of have to do what you can.
And yet the sight lines are really good for spectators.
The sight lines are awesome. Well, you don't realize until we start building here how much our greens are elevated. And, around this golf course, people laugh when I say this, but this is like Athens, or not Athens, in Ohio. It's like Akron, Akron, without the elevation changes. Parkland style, back and forth. You can stand. I was just out with Kelly James, listen to him heckle the guys out on 4. 3 green, 4 tee, 14 green, 15 tee, walk over to 16. You can do so much and see so much. You and I can stand here and look at 10 green across 3 fairways, right? And, it's just an amazing venue for spectators.
It's a great setup, and it begins tomorrow. First tee time tomorrow is at what?
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Maybe exact 7:01, but if you get here at 7, you just have to sit a minute.
Yeah, you won't miss much. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Might want to bring a jacket. Need a pullover.
Kind of need one now.
Yeah. It's not bad, a little north wind. We are not going to complain about this from the Sanderson Farms Championship.